Hey, welcome back. You made it to week number 2. Here we are, week number 2, lecture number 1. And I'm going to be talking about plot lines for stories and for dramatic lit. So, every story you will read or see, or a novel, a movie, a play, a comic book, they all have one thing in common. They all have a structure that helps the reader understand how to follow the storyline or the plot. In a plot line, you always need to say what's the title and who is the writer. There are many stories that have the same title, but with a different writer, you have different perspective and a different style. So being able to mention the writer becomes real important when you're doing an analysis. The first part of a plot line is the exposition. Exposition. And the reason why it's called that is we're showing who, what, when, and where. No why, so it's not the 5 W's yet. So in that exposition, we get the beginning of the play and the audience gets hooked. They start to see that main character, the most shown character already. They start to get connected to the storyline, and that leads to a conflict, a problem. There's always a problem. And that's where the protagonist, the most shown character, meets the antagonist, the bad guy, to make it easy. But sometimes they're not always bad. They just cause a problem. After the conflict, there's a build, and then we hit a climax. An exciting moment, a change moment. Most of the time it's physical, like a fight or a car chase. And then that comes back down and resolves. And those 4 parts, exposition, conflict, climax, and resolution, are in everything you will see. Now, admittedly, we'll discuss a lot more in depth as we go along. There are a lot more structural terms, rising action, falling action. There's literary terms like symbolism, metaphor, verbal irony. But we'll talk about that later, and I'll discuss them more in depth. Right now, what I would like you to do is I have posted several micro stories on my courses. So I would like you to read through them. They're really short, about 500 words. They're really good stories though. And what you will see is they all follow that same structure in a plot line. Now, to give you an example before you have to read for yourself, let's think about an easy fairy tale. A fairy tale, like Little Red Riding Hood, okay? The girl with the red coat. In the beginning, we have the exposition, and we know who is Little Red and her mom. What's happening is Mom is telling the little girl, go visit your grandma and bring her some goodies and things. Grandma's sick. So that's what we know from the beginning. Mom also tells her, don't talk to strangers on the way. I know you go straight there. Don't go off the point, you stay and you go straight to Grandma's house. Where? It's in a forest, and when? It's once upon a time. So that's the exposition. There's a lot more involved with that, but that gives you the bones, right? That leads to what? Little Red immediately breaks the rules and talks to a friendly wolf. That wolf is the antagonist, and he's gonna cause a lot of problems, but she's clueless. She tells him everything. The wolf arrives at Grandma's first. You know what happens there. That's part of the rising action that hits the climax when Little Red arrives at Grandma's house, knocks on the door, sees the wolf and goes, "Whoa, Grandma, what happened to you? I mean, this is some serious COVID-19 right here. You got ears real big." Oh, the wolf goes, "The better to hear you with, my dear." Oh, Granny, look at your eyes. They're like bugging out of your head. "The better to see you with, my dear." Whoa, and you need to go to a dentist or something, because your whole face is like messed up and you have these teeth that are just really looking bad, Grandma. "The better to eat you with, my dear." Now we have the physical chase. That's a climax. It's just like the car chase in a movie, or the big stage combat fight, right? That will lead to the hunter showing up, killing the wolf, saving the day, and they all live happily ever after. And that's the resolution. Not only an ending, but it resolves. It's a resolution. So in that you have exposition, climax, conflict, climax, resolution. Those four structural parts will be in every story you see. Every play, every movie, every novel you read, that basic scaffolding will always be there. I'd like you to try to recognize that. Plus, I'd like you to notice the protagonist, the antagonist, the support characters, anyone who supports the two of them, and minor. Those are characters that help decorate the story. If they got eliminated, it would be sad, but the story could still function. So those four structural parts, four character parts. Now, go and read those micro stories on my courses and enjoy. I'll see you in the next lecture.